I don't know if it's possible, but I would like to occasionally stay in touch with you. It's been pretty impossible to get through, and I don't want to bother you or intrude or anything. I just feel like we may have some really good stuff to share because we're working on the same things.
That'll be
Although
fun.
there's probably 1,000 people who tell you that, but
that'll be fun, man. I'll tell you what, Richard. Megan is my go-between, so I'll inform her that we'll get Ian to contact you and this other lady that's. I mean, she's major. You'll watch her video and your mouth will go wide open.
This is one of the things I want to demonstrate as an old person theoretically, and also as a complete raw food person, that I can do like what Chris Harrias and people like that are doing. They're not huge, but they're really athletic, flexible, and strong. They can do things that are amazing.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that's the point. You might not be huge, but you'll be stronger than huge.
Exactly.
I don't know if people, understand this, but at a certain level, you start feeling power and energy come into your body you've never felt before. And your muscles start becoming stronger without ingestion of anything. This is energy from the etheric worlds. It's energy that moves through you. You're blocking this energy with the acidosis and the obstructions. You remove the obstructions to the flow of energy, you have endless, and I guarantee you, endless endurance. I have body people and athletes that don't get tired. They get bored.
Well, but the question is then, why would you ever have to eat anything?
Good question.
Because remember Arnold Ehret said V equals P minus O. I read it in 1970 something. If that formula were true, it would mean you don't need food. You just need to get rid of obstructions.
Good question. And I can't answer that one. It would be lovely to have a whole bunch of people up at that level so we could observe some of that.
Yes.
Because these are questions I have too, my friend. Okay. And so, good question. External energy versus internal energy. We know that your consciousness is the main feed power to the body, of course. There's also a hooked silver cord, they call it, but it's an energetic cord. You can be out of your body traveling, and as long as that cord is hooked, you can come back to that body. If that cord gets cut, you can't come back to that body anymore. So I don't know. There's all kinds of levels of fun and interest and stuff that can open up to man,
Yeah, I don't feel like we're any age at all. We're permanent and ageless.
Oh, yeah.
We've been around forever.
You betcha.
Well,
but consciousness, and you have to learn the difference between consciousness and creation. And once man gets that, then he's got it. It's those that are learning how to quiet the mind and work from awareness as opposed from thought. J. Krishnamurti is the number one guy I think can help people do that. J. Krishnamurti. I'm sure you've heard of him. But
I remember I read some of his stuff.
Remember his stuff? Like on his things years ago, back in our times. But he opened me right up.
Yeah, it was incredible. Mm-hmm. And as far as meditation, if people are interested in that, where would you direct them to explore that?
I can't tell you that. I'll be honest with you. My teaching is more in a constant form of meditation. In other words, when you pull yourself back in the present moment, you're in where you're going in meditation.
Right.
So you're trying to get to the now in meditation. You need to learn how to be from the now and work consciously from that. You don't need to be in meditation because there's only deeper levels of the now, and there's only so far you can go while maintaining a human body. They won't even let me go to a certain distance while I still have this body.
Yeah.
Stop me every time.
Yeah, there's some better things waiting, I know, but sitting and meditating for half an hour a day and then going crazy the rest of the day is like going to church on Sunday and then going out and killing people, right?
Thank you. Exactly right. If you want to do meditation, be meditation. In other words, what's your goal in meditation? To become conscious? Well, then, do you really need to sit in a position and do that if you're already conscious? What's keeping you from being conscious? Thought, your mind, your desires, your emotions. These are your bodies that you're playing with. They're not who you are.
Yeah.
Man just needs to learn that.
You know what I ran into is that mind, like body, is a discrete, self-aware, conscious creature itself. And we can communicate with it.
Well, look at all the volumes of research that Holmes did on the universal mind. And that's the cosmic consciousness. If you've ever had the pure experience of pure mind, you have three aspects of the mind. You have the causal mind, which is the time track. Your physical body came out of that. You have form from the causal down. From the causal into the deeper part of the mind, you lost form. You have no more form. But that's when you pull into cosmic consciousness, and that is where you see oneness with all things. It's not consciousness, but it is that thin layer before it of the mind.
Right. So there's some really good stuff waiting for us, right?
Oh, baby. And you can have it right now if you can shift your awareness from the seeker to the knower.
Yeah. And it's not a pretend knowing, it's relaxing and think
knowing. No, you know the old saying in spirituality, the seeker of God never finds God, because he's always seeking that which he already is.
Right. Wasn't that there was a joke somebody was telling that I used to be an atheist, but then I found out I was God?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's only the one. Only the one.
Yeah.
So who does that make you? And that also, who does that make a plant? And also, who does that make a gym? And also, who does that make a tree? Exactly.
There's only ever been one being in existence.
Only one. There's the Jalal and Rumi effect. It's a Rumi effect. Remember Rumi, Jalal and Rumi, his master was Shamash Tabriz, but Rumi he was a master unto himself. But you remember, he walked out his house one day and he saw God in everything. Every atom was God, every tree, every plant, everything was God, and he went into ecstasy. He went into the street and he started whirling and whirling and whirling, and then went into God realization. Yeah. And out of that came what? The whirling dervishes.
Yeah.
The Sufi sect.
Yeah, exactly. And so, the whirling is fun, but you need more than just the physical whirling to do that.
You know what? You don't even need to whirl. All you have to do is shift your perspective.
Right.
And it can happen in an instant. You're either watching and looking and being conscious, or you're thinking.
Well, isn't, V equals P minus O, this version that Eric gave of just remove obstacles, as you were saying, and then everything else flows in, all the energy you need and all that.
I tell you what.
That means the healing force works by itself.
Yeah,
but not only on the body, but on consciousness too.
Absolutely. I tell you, all I can say is that when you get up into these higher levels of removing obstructions, and you become more alkaline dominant, there is an endurance and a power that comes in from the universe that is undescribable. And I can just tell you, I reached it, and I had to come back and eat some cooked vegetables. I had to ground myself because I was out of body. Uh-huh. I was working in the now, trying to get that. I was a fruitarian, and I'm going to tell you, the power was too much for me. I'll admit it. I couldn't handle it. I was saying, give it to me, give it to me. Yeah, right. I don't say that anymore.
and then you get 1/1000th of it, and it's too much.
Exactly. And then you go, oh, okay. I get it. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh, well, fun.
Fun stuff. Thanks for
Yeah, it was really fun. I felt like I was in third grade getting to go over to a friend's house to, watch TV.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. So, okay, I hope we can stay in touch. And what's the best way if I want to send you some kind of a message or something? Talk to one of the people.
To Megan. Megan is my total go-between.
Okay.
Megan, you can send her stuff and everything. I'll tell her to get back in touch with you, and especially with these two, because you're going to love to want to interview those on your show.
Yeah, I really want to interview anybody into athleticism, bodybuilding, and stuff that's 100% raw.
Oh, I'll turn you on to a whole load of them.
Okay, perfect.
Fun stuff.
Thank you very much, and
love you, man.
We'll see what happens next. Love you.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Take care of yourself. Thanks for the interview. Love you.
You too. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.